What's going on, everybody? I'm Primal Liquid, bringing you guys another guide for Star Ocean: The Divine Force. And in this video, we are going to be going over factors and how to get them. Now, I have briefly touched upon this in some of my other Star Ocean guides. However, this is going to be a full-on dedicated video to it, so this should answer any questions that you might have. But before we get into the video, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest, then check down below in the description and drop a follow to me on Twitter and Twitch, where I stream 3 days a week. Also down there is a link to our Discord community where you can hang out with me and other like-minded people. And of course, remember to smash that like button and drop a comment down below, as it really helps to combat YouTube's shitty algorithm and give the channel a nice boost. Also, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content. And for those who want to go above and beyond in helping to support the channel, then down below as well is my Patreon link and also my merch store, primalstore.net. And if you use code PrimalXmas, you get 20% off all orders until the end of the month. And now, back to the video. Now, when it comes to factors, there are 2 main ways to get them, okay? The first is some items are guaranteed a specific factor for them. For example, like these weapons right here that we can buy from stores, these are always going to be guaranteed. Okay, and likewise with store-bought weapons, some crafted weapons will also have guaranteed effects on them. For example, Elena's ultimate weapon, the Fragoric Raid, and yes, I know I probably pronounced that horribly wrong, forgive me, but the factor on this is plus 40% damage dealt to target at point blank range. This is one of the best factors in the whole game, especially if you stack it up for melee characters. This is what's going to allow you to do sort of millions of damage per hit, if you stack enough of these anyway. And of course, the Fragoric Raid is the best way to get this. Kind of. So, when I say it's the best way, I mean it is a guaranteed weapon that will spawn with this effect. Okay? Now, there are still some problems with that. Namely being, the creation of this is still RNG based. Okay, you still have to go into item creation, you still have to go to engineering, you still have to use Elena, and you still have to keep using integration devices. And then of course you can either try again, which I don't recommend because it turns out it's more expensive, well, most of the time. For integration units with Elena, it's actually fine because it uses 2 of them. However, if you are using something like Smithy and Philosopher's Stone, don't use try again. The try again costs more than it costs to just buy a Philosopher's Stone. It's 120,000 to buy a Philosopher's Stone. Try again is 144,000, or if you are using a character that doesn't have the cost reduction, it's 180,000. So just take the loss on the item and exit out, and then just buy another Philosopher's Stone and save yourself 60,000 fall, okay? But anyway, now when it comes to the Fragoric Raid, as I was saying, if you are going to specifically go for that, there's no saying that you are going to get one during the item creation process, okay? Yes, you can save scum your way to it, however, that kind of defeats the purpose, if you ask me. Now, there are other abilities that you do want to aim for. For example, Elena's ultimate weapon, the Fragoric Raid, as we've already seen, does always contain the 40% point blank range. There are also other things, such as JJ's best weapon, that will always spawn with 55% extra damage to divinities. Or you could go for the Daryl figure, which always spawns with attack 17%. There's the Claire figure, which always spawns with int 17%, and so on and so forth. Not every item will have a guaranteed factor, however, some do. The downside here is it is still RNG to create the items. And that's why there's 2 reasons I prefer the method I'm about to explain. Firstly, obviously the game has only been out for a little over a week now. That means there is still no complete list of who creates what, using what material, and of course what item has the exact factor. So it's still a little bit in the dark at the moment. We know some of them, we just don't know them all, okay? And also, I'll put a list on screen and also in the top comments down below of some of the best factors that we have guaranteed locations for. But what I would actually suggest doing is twofold, okay? So obviously there are multiple factors that you want to go for. You don't just want to have just one factor across every single character on every piece of gear, okay? Each character is going to be different, and of course, if you want a different build, you are going to need different factors. So the way I would suggest doing this is, firstly, make sure you have Santa unlocked in Ultima Fuel. And also make sure, well, I can't open the map here unfortunately because it is Ultima Fuel. Also make sure you have done all the delivery quests in Raymond's home world at that shop as well. These two shops combined will allow you to buy every single material for crafting, okay? The one in Raymond's home world will allow you to buy all the low-level materials, and then Santa in Ultima Fuel will sell all of the high-level materials. So what I would suggest doing is buy up 20 of these, 20 of every single one. If you are short for Gil, then Gil? I feel like I'm playing Final Fantasy. If you are short of fall, then just do the 2 billion fall an hour guide, which is simply using fall gear with surprise boost on and then farming in the delve. That will get you like tons and tons and tons of foul, more than you would ever possibly need, and that would allow you to do the method that I am about to explain. However, it's not actually as expensive as you might think. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the item creation and we're just going to go to crafting. Now you can use any character you want really. I just prefer using Letitia at the moment, simply due to the fact she has nimble fingers basically from the get-go, which makes it easier to produce a rare item during crafting, and the important part, it also becomes easier to add a good factor. And then of course there is Wonderment as well, which boosts the effect of support items. Now the support items are not needed, let me just clarify this, they are not needed at all to get good factors. They simply improve the chances of getting a good item. Factors and items are two different things. Now a lot of people prefer to use Nina. Me personally, I don't, but that's just because like I've not crafted with her enough, so I don't have her crafting ability, because she does also have the ability to actually learn nimble fingers, but for me it doesn't matter, and most of the good items can be made with Letitia anyway. So what I would suggest doing is, when you have 20 of every item, just go through and craft them all. Now, what I will note is the lower level materials, so things like iron, silver, gold, star ruby, and then the same with cloths like scruffy rag, wool, aromatic cloth, and silk, and so on and so forth. The lower level material means the lower the chance to get a good high level factor. It doesn't make it impossible though. You can get good factors on low level gear. It is just rarer. If you want the highest possible chance to get the best factors, then you are going to have to use the better items. So for example, Solomon Cloth, Philosopher's Stones, Exolithium Crystals, and so on and so forth. The items these create typically will have the highest tier factors on them. Again though, that is no guarantee. It is still down to RNG, okay? There is no tried and true method of guaranteeing you get the item or the factor that you want. It is random chance, and that's why I prefer this method of just mass crafting everything, because then we're not aiming for one specific factor, okay? If we get the factor we want, great. If we don't, that's not the end of the world. Chances are you are going to get a few good factors that you can use in other builds, or maybe your current build will also need that factor. For example, if we look at my build currently right now, which I am using on Raymond, if we take a look at his tri-emblems right now, so as you can see, they are all different effects. You know, I've got 55% damage to divinities, fire lightning projectiles upon attack, attack pierce through elemental resistance, extra damage at point blank range, and so on and so forth. So going for a wide variety will work out better for you in terms of time taken. Now, yes, it does mean farming more fall. However, that is still quicker, in my opinion, than doing a whole bunch of save scumming just to get one specific factor. For example, if I was to just go for attack 17% for the Dowel statue, I could end up going through, you know, 20 different meteorites and still not get that Dowel statue. But maybe I would have got 5 factors that can be used elsewhere. It seems a waste of time to reload that save to get my meteorites and fall back when I got those 5 factors. So that's why I personally think it is better to just do the fall grind, buy a bunch of materials, and then create a whole bunch of items. Once you've gone through the list though, you know, you've gone through all of your item creation, you've used up all of your materials, so you have nothing left. What that means is your inventory is going to be completely full of junk, okay? For every 100 items you make, you might only get 5 or 10 good ones that are worth keeping. But one thing to keep in mind as well is you can only have 20 of a specific item. So eventually you are going to start hitting that cap. And when you hit that cap, anything else you make after that is automatically sold, whether you want it to be or not. So I suggest getting into the routine of selling your stuff every time you do this method. And the easiest way for that is to simply go through the list, pressing triangle on any equipment that you do not want to keep. This way you can bulk sell all of your junk. So all you have to do, go to the sale list, find an item you don't want, press triangle. Go down, don't want it, triangle. Down again, don't want it, triangle. Again, down, triangle. And then when you've gone through the whole list for weapons, once you've got rid of all the items with factors that you don't want and you've kept the items with factors that you do want, simply hit X and sell them off. And then just do the same for armors and accessories. Now, as I mentioned, it is RNG, okay? Whether you do this method with mass crafting or you aim for a specific item, it is all luck, okay? You could do 5 crafts and get the 5 factors you want in a row. You could do 500 crafts and still not get the factor you want. It is unfortunate, but that is just how RNG works. If you don't get the item you want, there is no secret recipe for how to get it. You simply have to keep trying, unfortunately. But as I said, if you want to go the other route of aiming for a specific item with that factor, instead of hoping it appears on a random item, then I will have a link, well, I won't have a link, I will have a post in the comments, and as I mentioned, they were in the video earlier on as well, with some of the items that we have already found out, what has the guaranteed factors, and how to make them. But again, please remember, the game is still new. There are over 400 items in the game, and obviously with so many different characters being able to craft with so many different materials, it means making a list is going to take time for a complete list. That's why right now people are only working out the absolute best of the best effects. But though, everybody, that is going to be it for this video. I hope it's helped, and I hope it's been educational for you guys. If it has been, then please be sure to smash that like button and drop a comment down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content. As always though, everybody, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.